Books to read if you are bored. The New York Times best-selling author Jesse Ventura with Dick Russell. 63 documents the government doesn't want you to read. 63 documents the government does not want you to read. This WikiLeaks stuff is going to rank right up there with 9/11 and the murder of Kennedy. They're using it to curtail our freedom of speech. Is there any doubt that they're running a blitz against every one of our liberties? Says Jesse Ventura. If you're talking outspoken, unconventional, and no holds barred, you're talking Jesse Ventura, says Larry King. You're my hero, man, says Howard Stern. Jesse has focused the light of transparency where it counts, to give us a clearer look at the major issues of our time, says Alan Combs. If there was a steel cage match between Jesse Ventura and Glenn Beck, the good money would be on Jesse. The man could do it with his hands or his mouth. He seems just that lethal, says Chuck Palahniuk. Jesse Ventura is worth listening to, says Rosie O'Donnell. What's most refreshing about Governor Ventura was his willingness to defend his positions and attack his interrogators. He's an imposing man who's not easily intimidated, according to Playboy. Is Jesse Ventura crazy? Maybe. Is Jesse Ventura a genius? Maybe that too. But one thing is for sure, he's never boring, according to ESPN.com. He did it his way, he's living his American dream, says Donnie Douche. So read about 63 documents the government doesn't want you to read. The same officials who are panic-stricken about WikiLeaks revelations, leaks of information that every citizen in a democracy should be able to access, are front and center in the documents that Jesse Ventura presents here. He proves that we're being duped into wars we shouldn't be fighting, lied to about intelligence, fed hogwash about terrorism, and tricked into losing more and more of our civil liberties. Government officials can and do disregard the law, torture people, break promises, practically rewrite the Constitution, and keep on lying without raising any eyebrows. There are an astounding 16 million documents being classified top secret by our governments every year. Today, pretty much everything the government does is presumed secret. The CIA's guide to assassination, fake terrorist attacks planned by the US, the military's experiments on its soldiers, Homeland Security's emergency detention camps, fewer and less stringent FDA inspections on our food supply. Is this really necessary for the conduct of foreign affairs or the internal operation of a democratic government? Of course not. Democracy in America has become undermined from within. It's been going on for a long time and it's getting worse. Not only that, take a little pause here. 1 second. I'll be back. Running out of electricity. So as I was saying, the CIA's guide to assassination, fake terrorist attacks planned by the US, the military's experiments on its soldiers, Homeland Security's emergency detention camps, fewer and less stringent FDA inspections on our food supply. Democracy in America has been undermined from within. It's been going on for a long time and it's getting worse. Not only that, but we're being forced to fund the deception. Tax dollars are paid for mind control experiments and staged attacks to draw us into war, for drug running and extraordinary rendition of detainees. This seems unbelievable, but the actual documents prove otherwise. It's time to wake up and start demanding accountability. Let's never forget the words of Henry. The liberties of a people never were, nor ever will be, secure when the transactions of their rulers may be concealed from them. In this book, Ventura implores. One moment, please. Excuse me for all the technical difficulties we're having here. Yeah, where was I? In this book, Jesse Ventura implores all Americans to challenge unnecessary secrecy in the hope that government leaders will show greater ethical consideration in the future if we remove their masks today. Jesse Ventura is the former independent governor of Minnesota. He's also a former U.S. Navy SEAL, professional wrestler, movie actor, a visiting fellow at Harvard Kennedy School of Government, and the New York Times best-selling author of 5 books, including American Conspiracies and Don't Start the Revolution Without Me. He's currently the host and executive producer of True TV's Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura. Dick Russell is an award-winning author. He collaborated with Jesse Ventura on his most recent bestsellers, Don't Start the Revolution Without Me and American Conspiracies. So these are 63 documents the government doesn't want you to read, so I won't read them. Top secret, special, yada yada yada. So why you need to read this book, even though the government doesn't want you to read it? Scandalous post-war history. The CIA's secret assassination manual. U.S. assassination plots against foreign leaders. U.S. Public Health Service exposed Guatemalan prostitutes. Prisoners, soldiers to sexually transmitted disease. The CIA's Project Artichoke and MK Ultra. Operation Northwoods. Kennedy's plans to withdraw troops from Vietnam. What really happened at the Gulf of Tonkin. U.S. capabilities in chemical and biological warfare. Government, military, and corporate secrets. Putting war criminals to work for America. More on U.S. intelligence and the Nazis. CIA propaganda notes and the Kennedy assassination. Running drugs in with dictators. America's blind eye to genocide. Military experiments on our own troops. Gulf War illness on our veterans. Operation Garden Plot are military and civil disturbances. Emergency detention camps and civilian inmate labor program. Emergency detention camps and civilian inmate labor program. The Army's continuity of operations plan. The State Department cable on Russia as a mafia state. Our food supply imperiled by lack of inspections. Pesticides and honeybees. America's fight against Europe over biotech crops. America's fight against Europe over biotech crops. Climate change as a threat to national security. Koch industry seminars for the rich and powerful. Nixon's Vietnam peace plan. Nixon's pursuit of the CIA secret files. How Nixon wanted the CIA and FBI to crack down on youthful dissidents. The GES emails and the CBS News analysis. Fixing the vote in Ohio. Hillary Clinton's call for diplomats to spy on the UN. An internet kill switch. Homeland Security cybersecurity agreement with the Pentagon. A think tank's anticipation of 9/11. FBI knowledge of terrorist training at flight schools. Bin Laden determined to strike in US, Bush was told. The Pentagon stand-down order on 9/11. The free fall of Building 7. Evidence for insider stock trading before 9/11. The FBI's briefing on trading for the 9/11 Commission. The War on Terror. The Justice Department's secret plan. President Bush's justification for torture. The military's outstanding media ground rules for Guantanamo. The detainees at Guantanamo. A medical experiment on the detainees. The paper trail on the CIA's destruction of 92 torture videos. Decapitation of a detainee by US forces in Iraq. The State Department's take on drug money leaving in Afghanistan. The World Bank report on drugs. The RAND report on terrorism. Resources for curious readers. Why you need to read this book? There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. Quote Kennedy. Stuff here. Well, the government doesn't want me to read it. I don't want to read about Agent Orange and chemical and biological warfare and synthetic biological agents and propaganda notes and mustard gas and hallucinogens, Luminous Task Force, Operation Garden Plot, military and civil disturbances, civilian inmate labor camps, Army's continuity of operations plan, protecting cyberspace, kill switch, FBI knowledge of terrorist training at flight schools, unclassified commission sensitive information, no more rule of law. Well, there are documents the government doesn't want you to read, so I'm not going to read them. However, if you have time and you are bored, you can read them. So So speaking of CIA assassination, you can also read about the art of intelligence, lessons from a life in the CIA's clandestine service by Crumpton. Crumpton's riveting account of his life in the CIA and the run-up to the war in Afghanistan is a treasure of every citizen who wants to know the sacrifices, courage, and strategic vision of the clandestine services in war and peace, according to Brokaw. The Art of Intelligence reflects the character of its author, honest, smart, direct, and impressive. According to Cole, this is a 9/11 memoir that readers have been waiting for, a tale of bravery and daring. Anyways, if you want to read about CIA assassination, the art of intelligence, dreaming, training, recruiting, collecting, liaising, counterterrorism, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Counterterrorism Center, Afghanistan strategy, Afghanistan operations beyond Afghanistan, reflecting America policy. So read about Mi-17 helicopters, unmanned aerial vehicles, Predators, M4 assault rifles, Glock Model 19 pistols, ceramic plated body armor, inoculations, polygraphs, disguises cover, basic tradecraft, agents to run, terrorists to nullify, Navy SEAL, CIA's clandestine service, covert operation, dreaming. If you can imagine it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can become it, according to BoRed. Read about the thin red line, the craft of intelligence. Training, experience, and skill in the various particulars is thought to be a species of courage, and Socrates also thought that courage was knowledge, according to Aristotle. Read about the KGB, and the CIA, possibly KGB is an equivalent, a Russian equivalent or Soviet Union equivalent. The CIA shrinks, doping, human espionage, intelligence reports. Recruiting. I do not like that man. I do not like that man. I must get to know him better. Attributed to Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln. Money, ideology, recruiting, cyberspace, foreign government liaison. Predators, deployment curtailed, headquarters, CENTCOM, Operation Anaconda. I really don't have time to read all this. University President, GQ model. The first, the supreme, the most far-reaching act of judgment that the statesman and commander have to make is to establish by the test the kind of war on which they are embarking, neither mistaking it for nor trying to turn it into something that is alien to its nature. This is the first of all strategic questions and the most comprehensive. Karl von Clausewitz on war. So if you want to read about CIA assassinations or the art of intelligence, lessons from the life in the CIA's clandestine service, another book to read if you are bored. Books to read if you are bored. Books to read if you are bored.